All right, some massive news just dropped in the AI world. And believe me, this isn't just another incremental update. A new powerhouse called DeepSeek V4 has officially landed. And it's not just powerful, it's open source, and it's bringing a feature that is a total game changer, a 1 million token context window. Oh, and the price? It's so low, it's literally sending shockwaves through the entire industry.
Okay, let's dive right in because the first thing you have to see is the price. I mean, just look at this. A task that might cost you, say, $35 on a competitor's model is just over $5 with DeepSeek V4 Pro. That is a mind-blowing 85% cheaper. We're not talking about a little discount here. This is a full-on market disruption.
And, this isn't just some quiet tech release. This is a major move on the global stage. Mashable is even calling it the latest salvo in the East versus West battle for AI supremacy. So when you think about it like that, it's open source nature, that raw power we're going to talk about, and especially that insane price tag, it all becomes way more significant. All right, so what is this new contender that's making all these waves? Let's get into the details. So DeepSeek V4 actually comes in two different flavors, depending on what you need. First, you've got V4 Pro. Think of this as the heavyweight, the powerhouse. It's packing 1.6 times trillion total parameters, built for the really tough stuff. Deep reasoning, complex coding, you name it. Then you've got V4 Flash. This one's the sprinter, built for speed. Fast responses, simple chats, those quick everyday tasks. But here's the kicker, and this is wild. Both of them support that massive 1 million token context window. To put that in perspective, that's like feeding it a few large novels and having it remember everything all at once. And this is where that cost disruption really comes into focus. Just look at these numbers per million tokens. V4 Flash is, it's almost ridiculously cheap. We're talking 14 cents for input. But even the powerful Pro model, look at that. $1.74 for input, $3.48 for output. It just blows the competition out of the water. And that output cost, that is so important because for a lot of apps, that's where the real expenses pile up. So the big question on everyone's mind is how? How on earth can they offer 1 million tokens of context so cheaply? It seems almost impossible, right? Well, it's not magic. It's just some seriously brilliant engineering. Yeah, this is the question every developer is asking. Because you have to understand, processing that much data, we're talking the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy and then some, is usually incredibly expensive. It just eats up a huge amount of memory and compute power. And that's exactly why this kind of thing has been out of reach for almost everyone until now. Okay, to get how they pulled this off, we need to talk about the main bottleneck. It's something called the KV cache. Now, the easiest way to think about it is like the AI's short-term memory. The more stuff you ask it to remember, the bigger the context, the bigger its short-term memory has to be. And that memory eats up super expensive GPU VRAM. For a long time, this has been the wall, the fundamental problem stopping us from having cheap, long-context AI. So here's DeepSeek's brilliant solution. It's a new architecture they're calling hybrid attention. It's basically a super clever two-step process. First, it takes all that context and creates a hyper-compressed version of it. Then, and this is the smart part, instead of having to reread everything every single time, it uses a mix of search techniques to find the exact piece of information it needs inside that compressed data. The analogy is perfect. It's like having a research assistant who makes a tiny summary and a perfect index so they can find anything instantly. And the result of this? Honestly, it's staggering. This new method needs only 2% of the KV cache memory that older models would need. Just let that sink in for a second. 2%. That massive reduction in memory and compute is the secret sauce. It's what makes this 1 million token context window finally a practical, affordable reality. Okay, so that all sounds amazing on paper, right? But does it actually work in the real world? Well, we found a really detailed hands-on review from a Reddit user who really put it to the test. And this person ran the ultimate needle in a haystack test. Seriously, they took one single specific sentence and buried it deep inside a document that was almost 800,000 characters long. The goal was simple. Could the model find it? For most models out there, this is basically an impossible task. So, did it work? You bet it did. V4 Pro absolutely nailed it. It found the sentence, no problem. That hybrid attention we were just talking about, it worked perfectly, pinpointing the exact phrase and even where it was. This is the proof. This shows its long context ability isn't just hype, it's the real deal.
So after all that testing, the reviewer's recommendation is pretty clear and super helpful. For your everyday stuff, quick chats, simple Q&A, the speedy, super cheap Flash model is perfect. But when you're dealing with long documents, serious coding, or any kind of deep, complex reasoning, that's when you bring out the big guns, the Pro model.
Okay, this all sounds pretty amazing, right? So you're probably wondering, how can I start using this thing? Well, you've basically got two main ways to get started.
Option 1 is the easy route. Use their pay-as-you-go API. It's fast, simple, and you don't have to manage any hardware. The downside? You pay per use and your data leaves your network. Option 2, and this is possible because it's open source, is to self-host it. Run it on your own servers. This gives you total control, total privacy, and it's a big but. It requires some serious hardware and know-how.
Honestly, for most people, the API is going to be the way to go. You just grab an API key, change the model name in your code to DeepSeek V4 Pro or Flash, and you're off to the races. And here's a huge plus. It's compatible with the OpenAI and Anthropic API formats, so it's basically a drop-in replacement. Super easy to integrate. Now, if you're thinking about self-hosting, let's be real for a second. You need to be prepared for a major hardware investment. The smaller V4 Flash model, you can get that running with a couple of high-end H100 GPUs. But V4 Pro? Whoa, that's a whole different ballgame. We're talking a cluster of 16 or more of those GPUs. So yeah, this isn't something you're going to be running on your gaming PC. So let's pull back for a second. After all this, what's the big picture? What does the arrival of DeepSeek V4 actually mean for all of us? I think this could be a pivotal moment. By absolutely crushing the cost of processing huge amounts of information and offering a genuine open source option, DeepSeek V4 is so much more than just a new model. It could be a real democratizing force for AI. We're talking about unlocking a whole new wave of applications in legal review, medical research, massive code base analysis, applications that, until now, were just way too expensive for most people to even attempt. This really could be the moment that long-context AI becomes truly accessible to everyone. The million-token question isn't if anymore, it's when.